All right. Again, we're so excited to be here with Christine Anderson, and I'm going to turn the time over to you. Will you introduce yourself, Christine?
I sure will. Hello, everyone. You already know my name. I've taught at Temple University for many years, and where I have been the chair of the department for a long time. Now I'm the coordinator of voice and opera, and teach voice lessons and classes to both classical and musical theater singers. And I've been part of CS Music also for many years. So I'm always thrilled to be here and to have a chance to work with you. I have 4 singers signed up. Mary, are they all here?
Let's see. I believe so. We have Lauren,
Okay.
Mia,
Brooke and Lucy.
sorry. Let's see. Lauren, actually, Lucy, I think is here, but I haven't seen a response. Okay. So Lucy is prepared to sing, and then the last person, Brooke, is Brooke here?
Yeah. Okay, because I had a couple people write they would sing if somebody else did the show.
Yes, and I had someone write that as well. But for now, let's go ahead and plan on these 3, and we'll see if Brooke shows up. And if we have a lot of time, I'd be fine with taking one volunteer, but we might just have the right amount of time anyway. So,
Okay.
But we'll see if Brooke shows up first. Okay.
All righty. So, Lauren, would you like to go first?
Sure.
Okay, great. And I always like to ask at the beginning of a class what you hope to get out of our work together.
I think for today, with this piece that I've been working on, finding ways to make it easier, because it sits right on my passaggio, so finding ways to just make that more fluid and like put that into the acting of it almost.
Okay, and where are you in your studies?
I just finished my junior year at James Madison University.
Okay, great. And is this a new piece, a piece you've sung for a while? You've sung it in public?
I've been working on this piece for a while. I started it back in, I think, October or November. It's been quite a journey learning how to maneuver it. So I think definitely
and I have one other thing, and if you can't do it, don't worry about it. But those lights are very glaring. The ones behind you. I'm wondering if you can angle your camera so that.
Will that help? I can dim.
That already helps. That already helps.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Well, let's give this a whirl then.
Very nice. Very nice to hear you.
Thank you.
So I'm going to give some comments, and some of them may be very just telling you about them, and some of the things I will probably want to go back and address. So first of all, you have a lovely voice, and this is not an easy aria, and you're still an undergraduate. So that's, that's impressive. From in the very beginning of the piece, you breathed early and then held your breath. Why did I not like that?
Probably tightens your muscles.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense. You wouldn't breathe in, wait around, and then speak. Mm-hmm. So if you can, and you were better within the piece, but if there was a little break or a rest, I heard you do it again. So that's something to think about, to pace yourself so that the breathing helps to relax and open you and sets you up for the following phrase. So that might be an old habit, but it's one that a lot of us have gotten ourselves into. So just think about that when you're going through. You mentioned that you wanted to talk about some of the approach to the passaggio. And before we talk about that, there's another issue, and I don't know if anybody said anything to you, but you have some intonation issues going on. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what did they usually say to you about it?
I've been working on trying to just make sure I'm singing more on top of the pitch and that it's more centered. But I've noticed that, like, in working towards those high A's, I've started to open too much where it starts to go sharp now at times. So
I understand.
It's almost like I started doing the reverse. Yeah.
Yeah. To me, some of this is because you're actually not thinking about keeping everything placed up or high or heady or whatever terms you use with your teacher or your teacher uses with you, to think about that approach. Because when I hear, a lot of flatting like that, I think you're not in the middle of the note. And when you have such a lovely instrument, it gets me itchy to fix it. And I think sometimes even it's just that you think you need to sing bigger than you do. Yeah. Your voice has a very good carrying power. It has a nice placement to it. And that can really help you to carry the sound. So for instance, when you were in the lower part of the staff, you were like a tumulka or something, in those lower Fs and things, that was a really nice sound. And I thought that's about the effort that you need to be giving in the staff. And I think even at that first leap, when you go F to the C, already you're a little bit heftier than I think you need to be. Okay. And this is a longer project than doing in a master class. But what I want to impress upon you is that, you have a good instrument. And so that if you can keep thinking about letting that placement and the core sound do the work for you, it's going to really pay off. Your French is pretty decent. The cruelle that U sound wasn't the IPAY, that was a little much like an oo. And sometimes when you have the OI sound like voix, that's a very bright ah sound. And those brighter sounds in the French, I think, will also help you vocally. Okay. So I'd like to go back and do the beginning again. Think about how to time your inhalation and think about singing this kind of, tell me what French art songs you sing.
I did Vieille Chanson the most recently.
Okay.
I haven't done a lot of French art songs, actually.
But do you sing that differently than you sing this?
Not much. So I think that's
okay. All right. That answers the question. That's fine. That's fine. Sometimes I can get to where I want through another piece. So let's just start over. And if I need to stop you, I will. But let's see if sometimes just by doing it, now your nerves are calmed down. We've talked a little. I hope it's instilled some confidence that I think you're very talented. So now let's do it again.
Okay.
Better. I want to go back. I'd like to go back a little bit.
Yeah.
You hear me? Maybe right before Hélas, somewhere close to that.
Okay.
And if you don't want, and if you want to do it a cappella, that's fine.
Sure. Yeah. Before the first Hélas, yeah.
Yeah, the B flat to the G one. So the last note on that voix, that was a really good sound and a well-balanced sound. And the sound that you're going for higher than that tends to be more than you need. So, you can talk to your teacher, and I'm sure that he or she will walk you through this, but it's interesting that when it's sort of simpler, it's better. Yeah. And it's in tune. It's in tune. All right, let's keep going wherever you'd like, piano or not.
Okay, I'll do it without the piano.
Pretty good. That was a very noisy breath that you took in.
Yeah.
And so see again, if you can be a little more relaxed. Why don't I want to hear that? Why am I asking you to do it over?
Usually when the breaths are noisy, it can indicate that they're shallower or not as deep.
Yeah, you're not keeping your throat relaxed open. Okay, again there. Good. Okay, stopping you. This is much, much better already. Okay. When you have those repeated notes at the top, we always want really clear diction. We also want some homogenization of the vowels. So if you can sort of, when you're doing all that, if you can say, this is where it feels the best, which might mean you modify a little bit, but it will make your sound more consistent. Okay. How do you normally work on a piece as you're learning it?
Usually I would learn it on like a lip trill or a hum or something like that to get the melody line.
Yeah, and so I recommend that. And I think it would not hurt for you to go back and do a lip trill, whatever works best for you. Hum is fine. Then do whatever vowels feel easy. Just kind of do what feels comfy. Then put the vowels that belong there. And then when you're doing that, record yourself and say, oh, gee, that was really good. Oh, I like that. And I think you'll start being able to sort of back up. One of the hard things about working on voice, we have to do so many things. We have to learn a text. We have to learn what it means. We need to know the character. And this kind of work is kind of, I don't want to say tedious, but building your voice and working on your voice in a very methodical way really pays off. And so I think, you know, the fact that you got better in just a few minutes is excellent. And that tells me that if you take the time and when you already know something to kind of back up and revisit it in this way, it's harder because we want to sing and make the music. But I think it would really help you. And you'll find that those passaggio things that are kind of bothering you will probably go away. So okay. I wish I had more time, but really nice to hear you. Beautiful job. Thank you for singing for me. You're welcome. Okay.
Okay, great. So I think we could probably have Mia next.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. And you?
Doing fine, thank you.
You have a very good singer name. I'm sure you heard that from everybody, but I'm saying
yes,
it too.
ma'am. Yeah, Mia DiGiovanni, very, very Italian.
Yeah. Who you are and what you'd like to get out of this class and the same things that I had just asked Lauryn.
Yes, ma'am. So my name is Mia DiGiovanni. I would like the song I'm singing, I would like if it sounded softer overall. I'm not sure if that's the right adjective. And then at the end, there's a higher note that I sometimes have trouble singing. I'd like to be able to sing it piano or mezzo piano, but I usually sing it forte or something. So I'd like if I could sing that a little bit softer. And I just completed my junior year of high school. Mary's Dominican.
Where are you in school? Which state? Where?
New Orleans, Louisiana.
Oh, a
Yes,
place
ma'am.
I'd love to go back to. My friends and I still talk about all the things we ate when we were there.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I am ready whenever you are.
Thank you. I put it in the chat, but I will say it for the sake of saying it. I will be singing Into the Night by Clara Edwards. Silently into the night I go, into the fragrant night of heavenly blue. The path is strange, my weary steps are slow. I do not find you there. I turn my gaze towards the morning sun, as from the east he comes through the dark into the dew. The flowers lift their heads, the night is gone, but where are you? The countless weary steps I do not heed, though they be over land or boundless sea. I cannot where the road may lead, if I may come again at last to thee. Silently into the night I go, into the starry night of heavenly blue. What matters where the road may lead, if I may come again at last to you.
Thank you. Very, very nice. And interestingly enough, you mentioned you really wanted to work on dynamic control, but you're not singing that loudly.
Oh.
I know we're on Zoom and all that, but I really don't hear a sound that sounds too big or too loud for the song.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and yeah, dynamics, the main thing is that they are relative, so that if there are places that you think, or it's marked in the score that you'd like to be singing more quietly, that's one thing. But the effect of the song and how you're approaching it is actually, to me, right on.
Oh,
so that's good. And even at the end, it's not overly loud. But there are some things. So to me, the things that I would like you to think about are that when you're going through the phrases, you have a beautiful spin on the long notes. I hear a nice even vibrato, and it's just lovely. But often, until you get to the longer note, you're not really singing on your air. You're kind of straight toned until you get to a place where you can land. I guess you maybe have heard this before.
Yes. I do have trouble adding in. I have a natural vibrato, so it usually only comes out on the longer notes.
Well, but that's what we want. You should never make vibrato. Vibrato should be a natural outcome of moving your breath and singing correctly. And you're also young. So, that's one of those things that comes in more and more as we mature. So I don't want you to ever think you have to add. I guess what I should be clear is that you should make sure the breath is connecting syllable to syllable or note to note.
Yes, ma'am.
So that it's sort of that the breath always has a direction. So I want to work on that a little bit. And then a couple times you're very expressive, and I liked to watch you, but occasionally you ended up looking to your left far enough that it concerned me about your neck.
Oh, okay.
So you want to
worry of that.
Yeah, I mean, you want to be inclusive of whoever's out there, and you don't want to stand stock straight like this, but just make sure if you're feeling pulling, then it's probably too far.
Okay.
And then I also think that, like, at the very end, when you have the high note on you, what have you been working on with your teacher to approach that?
I guess just preparing for it, like, properly, like before the note, like having enough breath to support it. I guess just general high note things.
Do you ever think about modifying the vowel when you get up there?
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be more of a ooh, right?
It's supposed to be more of an ooh, but I would say make it more toward the O side of an ooh and not ooh, because that's just a smaller vowel shape.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
So I want to go back to the beginning and let's see. So don't worry about vibrato. Just make sure that you're moving your air throughout the whole phrase.
Yes,
okay.
Ma'am.
So don't change anything else.
Okay. Would you like me to sing it a cappella or use the?
No, since we're starting over, let's do it at the beginning.
Okay.
I just did that for efficiency because sometimes it's hard to find the place.
Mm-hmm. Silently into the night I go, into the starry night I know not where. The path is strange, my weary steps are slow.
So go back there, and I want, when you get to steps are slow, I think that you can move a little more air through.
Okay.
Okay, just go back a phrase.
Okay. Do you want me to use the piano or just sing?
Whatever you like.
Okay. I can hear myself better if I don't have the piano.
Okay.
The path is strange, my weary steps are slow.
So now can you actually think that on steps are that they're going to have the same air movement as slow?
Okay.
Just sing right there.
The path is strange, my weary steps are slow. I do not find you there.
Good, keep going. the night has, and then I don't know the text.
Oh, okay.
So can you do that again for me, just so I understand you better?
Yes, no, yes, ma'am. The flowers.
That's
The
fine.
flowers lift their heads, the night is gone, but where are you?
Okay, so now I don't know if you can tell, and I don't want to be harping on this vibrato thing, but like, where are you that you just sang? All of those notes spun evenly, and they were very pretty. And so if again, you heard me say to Lauren, sometimes record yourself, because you might say, oh, that's really good. I hear that. And then go back and see if you can make that happen. But that was good. Keep going.
Thank you. The countless weary steps I do not heed.
This is rather mean of me, but on steps, when you have that interval down, it's not, the pitch isn't clean.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. I tell my students, if I can't write down the music from what I hear you singing, it's not in tune enough. So I'm like hyper vigilant about it.
Well, thank you. If it needs to be fixed, then it needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
The countless weary steps I do not heed, though they be over land or boundless sea.
Okay, this is very good. Now, I want to go back and do what you just did for me, slightly more slowly. And I want to see if you can pay attention to what the resonance feels like to you. I want it more by sensation than by ears. But I hear some notes or vowels that really ring, that sound, they're like little bells. And then I hear some that aren't as clear as that. And so I want to see if you are aware of when that happens. So slow it down a little bit and just focus on that.
And we have just a little over 1 minute, Christine.
Well, she can do this little section again.
Sure.
Thank you for that.
Okay.
When I get engrossed, that's it.
Thank you.
Okay, Mia.
The countless weary steps I do not heed, though they be over land or boundless sea.
How was that?
It was better. I liked your comment about paying attention to the resonance. It was interesting.
Because it really was better. It wasn't, I'm glad you knew it. The O to me can be a little more pure, a little more closed. But yeah, now I heard a consistent, I always say you need to feel like there's a little silver thread that goes through your voice all the time. And now I'm hearing that connection. So that was really good. So if you can keep doing that, but as I say, dynamics, just look at the score. And if you decide that there's a place you'd like to be singing more quietly, can you sing just the last phrase? I know we have to be done, but just so I can hear the high note, and think about just making a really pretty sound up there. Don't worry so much about an ooh vowel.
Okay. I'll wait for you.
Yeah, that got a little stuck. So that's something to work on. No, don't never apologize. We are human. We've all had a mistake on stage. We've all forgotten a word. I've heard famous opera singers crack at the Met. So don't apologize. We're here to work. And I really enjoyed my time with you. So thank you for singing for me. Beautiful job.
Thank you for having me, and all the advice was very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice rest of your day.
You too. Okay, so now, Mary, do we have somebody who has signed up?
Yeah,
Lucy?
so Lucy.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Lucy Wang. I'm a rising high school senior from Ohio. I only started singing my freshman year, so I do have some breath control issues and vowel issues. I'm singing on my own for the competition, the CS music competition. So it would be very helpful if you had any tips on that.
Good. Happy to hear it. Where in Ohio are you?
Oxford.
Okay. I went to graduate school in Cincinnati, so I know that part of the world.
Okay. On my own. All alone, I walk with him till morning. Without him, I feel his arms around me. And when I lose my way, I close my eyes, and he has found me. In the rain, the pavement shines like silver. All the lights are misty in the river. In the darkness, the trees are full of starlight, and all I see is him and me forever and forever. And I know it's only in my mind that I'm talking to myself and not to him. And although I know that he is blind, still I say there's a way for us. I love him, but when the night is over, he is gone. The river's just a river. Without him, the world around me changes. The trees are barren everywhere. The streets are full of strangers. I love him, but every day I'm learning. All my life, I've only been pretending. Without me, his world will go on turning. The world is full of happiness that I have never known. I love him. I love him. I love him, but only on my own.
Very, very nice. Good to hear you. So tell me again what you think you need to work on with this. And are you singing this tomorrow or when?
Oh no. I'm singing this like for the competition. I just submitted my second.
Okay, got it. Okay. So what do you think you need to work on?
Well, I feel like I was a little shrill in some places. And I have like a lower register and a higher register, and I don't think my mixed voice is that strong right now.
Well, I think it's better than you think it is. And I was surprised when you first started to sing at how rich your voice is. And you do have a good low sound. So I don't think that it's necessarily that you're getting shrill. It's just different. And you sense that difference when you're moving between your lower register and getting more into the middle mixy place. The thing that I would like to go back and have you think about is something that we often encounter, especially for me, you notice it when you're singing in your own language, in that there are a lot of places in this song where the composer has given a longer or higher note to an unimportant syllable. So that we have river, changes, of those kinds of things that suddenly come out of the line as sounding more important than they really are. And so you can't change what the composer wrote, but you can make sure that you don't suddenly make those places more emphatic or louder or sounding like you're singing a language you don't know. And that was the first to the first thing that I thought about. So I want to go back and do some of this again and really just think about how you would tell this story if you were speaking it, but you have to be singing it. And so I don't want you to change anything. So, okay, let's go back and do it again. You can put the track on.
On my own, pretending he's beside me.
Okay, now I do like it, except the first three words were just not clear English.
Okay.
I have to get all of that just sounded great. I just want you to clean up the text. One more time.
On my own, pretending he's beside me. All alone, I walk with him till morning. Without him, I feel his arms around me. And when I lose my way, I close my eyes, and he has found me. In the rain, the pavement shines.
Okay, I want to stop just because I want you to think about where the commas or the thoughts end, because what you just sang sounded like a run-on sentence. Okay. And I know when you sing with a track, that's one of the hard things about singing with a recording, is that you don't have that space to take that little extra time. But if you can just let me know that you really are thinking about what you're saying and not just singing the piece. So just go back a little bit.
Okay. Without him, I feel his arms around me. And when I lose my way, I close my eyes, and he has found me. In the rain, the pavement shines like silver. All the lights are misty in the river. In the darkness, the trees are full of starlight.
So that's one of those places right there, that full of starlight. That's just, it's the writing, it's not you. But see if you can make that phrase come alive better in spite of that text setting.
Okay. The pavement shines like silver. All the lights are misty in the river. In the darkness, the trees are full of starlight, and all I see is him and me forever and forever. And I know it's only in my mind that I'm talking to myself and not to him. And although I know that he is blind, still I say there's a way for us. I love him, but when the night is over.
Okay, I'm going to stop you here just for a second. Overall, this is really good, and I'm not stopping you a lot. In the section before, when you have forever and some of those really low notes, because you have such a strong lower register, you actually can give a little less. It'll match what's above it a little better. But I stopped you because when you're in this part of your voice, when you're up by like B flat and C, you're slightly flat. And I want to make sure that that you're really thinking through where those notes need to be placed. So just go back a little bit from where we were. And let me hear that again.
And we have just about 1 minute, just maybe 2 minutes.
Thank you.
I don't know where it is.
You can just you know the key, so just do a cappella for me.
Okay. And I know it's only in my mind that I'm talking to myself and not to him. And although
see, like for instance, right there, you don't need as much on that pick of and I, because you're just going down and coming right back up. Okay. You know, this is already in such a good spot, and you're able to get around your voice really well. So it's like none of this is wrong. I'm just trying to get your voice balanced. What you just did was much more in tune. I don't know if you saw me give you a thumbs up, but that fixed that. So just write that phrase I stopped you. You can go on.
Okay. Still I say there's a way for us. I love him, but when the night is over, he is gone. The river's just a river.
I'm going to say something, and this is very good, but we need to be done. When you sang this now without the track, you're not falling into the traps that you were when you were singing with the accompaniment. It's sort of your voice is better balanced, and you're not trying to do anything extra, but just kind of letting your voice be your voice. Mm-hmm. And that was really good. So you might do this a few times without the track. If you have access to a piano and can just keep yourself in the key, or just, you know, check it out. But because that was much more consistent. Okay. And you know, your voice has a nice color to it. And as I say, the fact that you can sing with some real power in the low register, that's great. You're not one of the many people who can't get down there. So that's a selling point for you. But just make sure that within a song that you know how to balance your voice to get around whatever the piece calls for. So really nice to hear you. Thank you so much for singing for me. Lovely.
Thank you so much for your advice.
Sure.
Okay, so we had multiple people volunteering.
Yeah, the first one I saw was Sonia, somebody.
Yes, but Nick actually had messaged me right before Sonia.
Okay,
so
that I
hope that's okay.
Whoever it's first come. That's
so
what we do.
Nick just put rep in the chat, so if you want to look at that. And Nick, would you introduce yourself? And we only have about 10 minutes with him or so, with Nick. Okay.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Nick Hausman.
Hi.
I'm currently an undergrad at the Crane School of Music. I'm entering my junior year, studying performance. And today I'm going to sing Das erste Veilchen from Mendelssohn's Sixth Lieder.
You came and met me when I was doing a recruitment thing last month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I recognized you. Well, welcome back.
Thank you. Als ich das erste Veilchen erblickt, wie war ich von Farben und Duft entzückt, die Boten des Glanzes trägt ich los, an meiner schwellenden offenen Brust, die Boten des Glanzes trägt ich an meiner schwellenden Brust. Das Völkchen ist tot. Das Völkchen ist tot. Ring stehen für Blumen blau und rot. Ich stehe inmitten und sehe sie kaum. Ich stehe inmitten und sehe sie kaum. Das Völkchen mir scheint mit dem Frühlingstraum. Das Völkchen mir scheint erscheint mit dem Frühlingstraum.
Very lovely. Pleasure to hear you. And very good singing overall. So you tell me what you think needs help, and then I'll tell you what I think needs help.
For this section, my breath support is kind of in and out, but I think overall in the piece, a lot of making sure the vowels aren't too far back.
I think that that's a pretty good self-assessment there. So sometimes your vowels are right on, but sometimes, and it depended on where you were in your range. But like one of the Pfeilchens got really, stuck. But, and then calm, that ah part of that needs to be brighter. The umlaut wasn't clear. So since you already know that for yourself, I want to go back, let's do it again, because there's so much of this that's really very good. It's just that it's not yet consistent. Have you sung this like with this? Is this a jury piece or something you already did before?
Yeah, I had some health issues with the voice, so I recently picked it up and I learned it in about a month for my level. So it's still fairly new, but I did use it for an assessment.
Okay, yeah, no, it's very good. It really is about consistency. And were you here when I worked with Mia and told her to think about how there's some of that needs to be taking place here with you. So if you can think about that. Let's go back. I'll see if I have to stop you, but since you already know what you need to be addressing, now that you're relaxed a little, let's see if we can fix it up. It's a good song in your voice. You have to go back and do that again. I feel like on Pfeilchen that there's a drag on when you have to say the consonant, like between the vowels. Just see if you can get rid of that really quickly so that I hear a clean approach to the vowel.
Sure.
One more time.
Wie war ich von Farben und Düften zickt, die Boten des Glänzes trägt ich Lust.
Okay, let's go back and do this phrase again, because on Driki for that's getting a little spread, and then when you get to Lust, it's getting a little tilted this way. So again, think about how you can keep things just in a column, in a good placement, and give me the good diction. Just a little bit before where you were. Do you need all those breaths?
I don't. I just didn't get a good one to start.
Let's go back just so I can hear that in a better way. And on the bottom notes, I know it's lowish. Just keep it really from the top because it's getting a little baritone-y. That's much better. Are you aware that before you said der, you actually said an N? Der. Let's get rid of that. Can you put more oo in that? Yeah, it sounds like you're singing an E vowel.
Yeah. I'll go back. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Good.
Das Weilchen ist tot. Das Weilchen ist tot. Ringsum viel Blumen, blau und rot. Ich stehe inmitten und sehe sie kaum. Ich stehe inmitten und sehe sie kaum.
That's, for my taste now, that's almost spread. Before I thought the vowel was too dark. Now I think it's too wide.
I might have overdone it.
Yeah, that we often have to find that middle ground, but much better overall. And I really enjoy, I'm watching and hearing how you're able to use your breath as you get to the top of the staff. And that's very good. You're very engaged when you go up to the F's and all that. So good for you. That's good work. Go back so I can hear calm in a better vowel place.
Ich stehe inmitten und sehe sie kaum. Ich stehe inmitten und sehe sie kaum. Das Veilchen mir scheint.
The top Veilchen was excellent, but when you came down the third, it was a little darkened. And no, I'm being picky because I can.
Yeah.
You know, if you're already at a place where I can be the specific.
I had some a burp coming up in the middle of it.
Well, then I take that as a good excuse.
But I'll go back a little bit. I gotta go back a little further.
Ich stehe inmitten und sehe sie kaum. Das Veilchen mir scheint, mir im Frühlingstraum. Das Veilchen mir scheint, mir erscheint, mir im Frühlingstraum.
Very nice work. On the calm, it gets a little bit nasalized, but then when you get a little quieter, when you decrescendo on the note and go to the oo vowel, then it's like in a sweet spot. And I don't want to get in the way with what technical work you're doing with your voice teacher, because sometimes we want to make sure it's in here and then figure out how to make adjustments. But it's just like, oh, that sound got better as it went. So I just wanted you to know that. Really nice to hear this. I sang a group of Mendelssohn songs on both my senior and a master's recital. So I'm very fond of these pieces, and it's nice to get to hear them. So
I'm going to be doing this for my 30-minute next semester. So I'm very excited for that.
Oh, good. Well, then you've got a head start for next term. That's good. Really nice to work with you. Thanks for coming back to visit me.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. So I know we're right at time. I didn't know if there's time, Mary, for a question or two, if somebody has one.
Yes, we have time. That if we just have about maybe 5 minutes. So if anyone does have a question, either raise your hand or virtually or physically, or put it in the chat, whatever you're most comfortable with.
And if not, I'm at Temple University. If you sang for me, or if you didn't get a chance to and you want to write to me, it's very easy to find me. So I'd welcome any kind of correspondence. So Sonia just wrote me something. I have to see what she wrote. Thank you for that, Sonia. And I believe that. I tell my students that we work together as a team, but also I'm not your parent. I'm there to help you get better. So yes, I will compliment you, but this is to work. So thank you for that. So seriously, if anybody has a question, feel free to write me.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Christine. It was lovely seeing you.
I see somebody just wrote me some
Oh,
question.
they did. Yes, Lauren. It says, what advice would you have for students applying for graduate school in the near future?
Well, there are a lot of decisions regarding that. So you need to decide what kind of school you want to go to. Do you want to be at a large university that has a music school in it? Do you want to be at a smaller school where you can be the big star? Do you want to be at a school that has things through doctoral students where there will be older students than you auditioning for the same roles? All different kinds of things. But go on the websites. I think that and also visit, since we have the expo coming up, visit the schools that you have an interest in and talk to the faculty. I think it's so important to be able to do that. And this is a really easy resource for that. Most of the time when we're there in person at the expo, it's so great to have people come by the booth. I can meet them, I can answer questions, but you should see what type of school has. I went to Illinois Wesleyan, which is a small liberal arts school in Illinois. And I'm very glad that I went there. And I think that if I, for graduate school, I did both my master's and doctorate at Cincinnati, which is a very high-powered school. I'm glad I went to the smaller school as a younger singer because it gave me a chance to kind of find my space, find my wings, and I got a very well-rounded education because of the strength of the liberal arts part of the degree. And then when I went to Cincinnati, I felt more ready for a very competitive environment. And some people are the exact opposite. They want something right away. And then also look on the websites and ask friends and ask your teachers about somebody you might want to go and work with, because it's not just about the school, it's about who's teaching there and what their interests are and how they might be able to help you. So write to people. I'm always happy if somebody writes to me and says, I'm interested in your school and could, do you teach trial lessons? Do you have any advice for me? This is what I'm singing. Send me your resume, send me a video. We're all happy to be helpful because it's a huge decision and we want you to have what's the right fit for you. And for a lot of people, they say, well, I'm going to move to New York, and I'll say, that's fine. And you can move to New York, but you need to think about, are you prepared to come up with the cost of living in New York, which is very high, and if you're in a school that's here in New Jersey, Philadelphia, any of this area, you can still get to New York to take advantage of YAP auditions and all that, but you don't have to be spending the money to be living in Manhattan. So it's many things. And these are all questions that I think any of faculty would be happy to answer for you so that you can see. I know from Classical Singer that when I have met with people and or worked with them, and then they said they had an interest in Temple, and then they were almost apologetic because they said, well, I really like working with you, but I think I want to go to a smaller school. I don't want to be in a big city. And I said, but if that's right for you, then that's what's right for you. And so do some soul searching and reach out to your own faculty people and to any of us that you see or want to be in touch with. Okay, I think there was another question, and I don't know where I am, Mary.
Annie, do you want to unmute yourself?
Yes, I have a question. I was wondering
Sure.
if you could still pursue an opera career and do like a performance artist internship at an opera house or performance artist apprenticeship with a BFA in musical theater.
It really depends on what you do audition wise and what you need to fill in the gaps with. I had a musical theater major a couple of years ago who kind of got the opera bug and was a good singer, but she'd had no foreign language classes, no opera workshop, no classical music history. So she was caught as far as master's programs went. But if the talent level is high enough for you to be auditioning for young artists things or any shows or things that come your way, you might be able to make that up in practical experience. And if you're still in an undergrad degree or have a way to take the diction and language training that you might need, you know, who can say? We have a lot of crossover work now. And I think it does depend just on what your skill level is. And so I don't think anybody, to be honest, people reading a resume are not looking at the letters of the degree. They're listening to your audition and seeing what you can deliver. And if you have a good ARIA package that you can take out, then I would say do it. And then if you see, gee, I really should take a year and just coach and, you know, maybe study some French or German or whatever it needs to be to fill in the gaps, so be it. But, you know, an audition is an audition is an audition. So if you can do that, good for you.
Yeah, because my situation is I already have an undergraduate degree in journalism and also a minor in vocal performance. And I'm now trying to earn a second bachelor's in musical theater. And because of my minor in vocal performance from before, I already have like all these like opera classes and theory and musicianship classes that I've taken. But and I had to do a full recital as well for the minor in vocal performance, all classical. But it's not like a Bachelor of Music. And I'm seeing a lot of these like apprenticeship programs saying like they should have a Bachelor's of Music, they should have an MM. And I'm just like, I'm trying to get a BFA.
Well, if with a BFA, and it depends on the program, because some things you don't need a master's degree. And given what you told me you've taken, you likely would qualify for a master's degree, even though you're getting a BFA, because it sounds like you've had most of the coursework. Mm-hmm. Where people get in trouble is if they haven't taken enough in the classical side of things to be competitive or to have the knowledge to take graduate level theory or something, because you have to do that. But every program is different. And there are a lot of summer programs that really are based on the audition and not a degree. So you just need to really go online and see where those openings are that you could do. So, and also, since you are doing both degrees, you might pursue, you know, audition for some quote unquote legit musical theater. Like we have somebody who graduated from us with a classical voice master's degree, and she's been singing Christine's on Broadway. So she was not trained and she didn't get a BFA. She has straight classical training, but she can, you know, she can do the other stuff. But then from that, a lot of people heard her. And then she got to do other operatic things. So it's kind of, you have to immerse yourself a little bit.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was fantastic. Great advice, Christine. And thank you, everyone. Thank you to all of our singers today. Just lovely, lovely talent. Really enjoyed listening. And Christine, thank you as always. Thank you so much for being with us.
I had a great time. You know, I really enjoy working with people and seeing new faces. So thank you, everybody who came and everybody who sang for me.
It was lovely to see you. Yes, okay, thank you. And you guys have a good evening.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.